Hi, I'm Washington County District Judge Linda Thomas.
And I'm Associate District Judge Russell Backlaw.
If you're watching this video, you've probably received a summons from the Washington County District Court requiring you to appear for jury duty. I am sure those called for jury duty often believe they have better things to do. However, I can think of no more important civic duty than those which you perform as a juror.
And I would add that it's a constitutional duty, the system that was created by the founders of our country, to have the people come in to decide the fate of the cases in our counties and in our communities. We want you to know that we are very concerned about the situation with the pandemic in our communities, in our state, and our country. We are listening to the experts. We are listening to what they say and how they will guide us. We will do everything from putting restrictions on how we handle each other in the courtroom, potentially the obligation to wear masks, and we cannot forget that there may be the time that we have to cancel our jury service for this term. But we are maintaining information with our Washington County Emergency Management Director, and we are listening to what the experts have to say on this. As we get closer to our jury term, we will get more information and make it available to you and try to help you all stay safe, just as we want to keep the people in the courthouse to stay safe. Our jury term is scheduled for 4 separate weeks. I would expect that each person called to serve as a juror may come 2 to 3 times at the most. Our jury trials each week usually last about 3 to 4 days. However, there are some cases that we have that may go longer. We will always make sure to let you know when those cases are on the docket so you can prepare your time to come and serve as a juror in our cases.
As a citizen of Washington County, you are required to serve on jury duty if you are called. However, there are some exemptions that may allow you to be excused from jury duty. You must be a resident of Washington County. If you are not, you will be excused from jury duty. If you are pregnant or nursing, you will not have to serve. However, you may if you so elect. If you are active duty military, you do not have to serve on jury duty. If you're over 70 years old, you do not have to serve as a juror. However, you may do so if you choose to do so. If you are a full-time student with a schedule, you do not have to serve as a juror. If you are a felon, however, you may not serve as a juror.
Many times as judges, we are asked by different people in the community to be excused from jury duty. I will tell you that we take that on a case-by-case basis. However, if you have a medical condition which would keep you from serving, we can excuse you, but we must be informed of what that condition is, and you may have to bring documentation from your doctor saying that you cannot serve. Throughout the 13 years that I've been doing these trials, we've had many people ask to be excused, but we've also had many people who don't need to be serving asked to serve. For one, people who have had cancer treatment, single mothers who are making minimum wage have all asked to serve even though they may have been excused otherwise. I believe it is for people like that and the people who sacrifice to be here that we have to enforce the obligation to serve as jurors, and so we must look at it very carefully. If you are simply asking to be excused because you don't like jury service or that you don't think that it's for you or it might be hard, please understand that we have to look at those cases in a different way. We do hope you can serve, and we find that most people who serve actually enjoy it and tell us afterwards how meaningful it was for them. If you have a reason why you cannot serve, we hold one day where you'll be instructed to appear and give that reason why you cannot serve. Please do not be offended if we can't excuse you, but we do owe it to the citizens of Washington County to see that everyone performs their civic duty.
On the weeks that you are called for jury duty, jury trials last from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with a lunch break in the middle of the day. You are required to check in the court clerk's office on the first floor of the Washington County Courthouse about 15 or 30 minutes prior to 9 o'clock. On the days of deliberation, you may be asked to stay later in the evening past 5 o'clock, but we will try to keep you advised in advance so that you can make arrangements at least a day in advance if you need to get a babysitter or make other arrangements for later in the evening. Once you go into deliberations, you will be required to stay here until a verdict is reached. When you check in at the Washington County Court Clerk's office, you'll receive a parking placard, which you will be required to put in the driver's side window of your vehicle. You may park in any spot other than those designated as 1-hour parking places. If you park in one of those 1-hour spots, you may be ticketed by the city of Bartlesville.
I want to let you know how the trial is going to proceed. The first day of trial will be the day that the jury is selected. That's the voir dire process. During this process, we will have a number of jurors called to what we call the box, or up in front of the barrister, where you will be asked questions about your qualifications to serve. I want you to know that we do not ask questions to try and embarrass or humiliate anyone, but we must ask these questions in order to determine whether or not you would be a fair and impartial juror in a case. That usually takes up the first day of trial. After that, witnesses are called, exhibits are introduced, and that is during the time frame typically between 9 to 5 in the day, when there's an exception to go longer, as the judge previously mentioned. I want to thank you all for coming and serving as jurors in our community. It is a very important service. We know the sacrifice, the time that it takes. We know that it takes you out of your normal schedule. We understand that. We have families too. We know the burden placed upon someone who has to change all that to come and perform their civic duty. We will try to accommodate you however we can, but we want you to know truly how we feel, and we are so grateful that you are here to serve as jurors in your community.
I consider the jury system the cornerstone of real justice in this great country. Jury duty is often difficult and demands jurors to sometimes hear difficult things and make difficult decisions. But watching from our place in the courtroom, we see a group of complete strangers come together making decisions that truly affect our community. We appreciate your willingness to serve as a juror in Washington County.